Is everybody to use tonight?
Yes. TA hours tonight from 5 to 7. There'll be
And
3 of us up there, so
from
tonight's a
5
great
to
day.
7 as well.
Okay, so we're going to start now. Before we get started on the tutorial, on the lab, well, first of all, looks like the website's down right now. I just texted Jared. He's taking a look at it. So the email that we sent out with the join.me number for today's lab, we've included the 3 files: the lab, the part file for NX you're going to need, and as well as another little addition to the tutorial that's useful. So 2 other things. We're going to give Holt some time, but before we do that, first of all, just a quick, we realize that there's some confusion on the late policy. Just know that we're now taking late policy in. It's in effect. So if you don't get your stuff in on time now, you will be penalized for lateness.
Okay, does that include today's lab?
The one that's due today?
A lot of people are saying that they weren't able to get it optimized.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people misunderstood that, and just, I don't know what we'll do, but send us an email. Explain your situation if it's late, and we'll see what we can do. That's what I can say. But just work your best to get next week's in on time, and if you didn't get the one in today, finish that as soon as possible as well.
Can you just say by next week have everything up to date and across the board so everyone knows next week?
Yes, next week for sure. If it's not in on time, it will be counted late, and you will be penalized for it. This week, hopefully not, but I'll see. We'll have to talk about that, okay? So late policy is in effect. Another thing is that, here's an announcement. Starting 2 weeks from today in lab, we're going to be doing design reviews, which is basically a very quick 3 to 5 minute presentation about the progress of your project, how it's going, what you've done the past week, where you're at, what you're planning to do. We'll give more information about that in the next week, so you know what's coming up. But it's basically, and we're going to be doing that from starting in 2 weeks until the end of the semester. For the first 20 minutes of lab or so, we're going to have everyone, each group present, and we'll have an order of who's presenting and whatnot. We'll give out more information about that. But so you know, we're going to start doing those presentations in 2 weeks. So yeah, keep a heads up for an email or something about that, because we will notify you within the next week about that. All right, Holt.
First of all, I wanted to thank you guys, because I realize I fired a whole bunch of surveys at you, the 2 main ones, in the last couple of weeks. I appreciate you taking the time to fill those out. And this is me just saying thank you, because I know how busy you are. I've watched this course for 2 years now, and I get how busy you guys are with this. So I appreciate you taking the time with that and working on the stuff. The last survey, there's about 20 of you either here. I haven't know whether it's BYU students or your international teammates. It's the one that takes a look at your team and how you communicated with your team. And it's basically looking for initiated contacts. It helps give us like a great big picture. I know we're focusing on emails throughout the course, but this kind of gives us a big picture at the beginning and the end. If you haven't taken the time to fill that out, or if you could check with your international team members and make sure they've filled that out, there's about 20 left to go, and we're trying to get all of them from there. But again, there's no way for me to express how grateful I am for this. Personally, this means a great deal to me for my dissertation, but in the broader aspect for the NSF study, the stuff you guys are providing so far just in the first 3 weeks has just, it's blown me away at how good it is. It's far exceeded what my expectations were. So I appreciate you taking the time to do the stuff and turn it in and continue to wish well on that, okay? I have nothing more for you probably until November, so you probably will just see me around. If you have any questions about stuff, please bring them back and to me. Those of you that are taking the PGVT lessons, that's Principles of Global Virtual Teams lessons, if you're behind, those are still open. Just catch them up as quick as you can. Okay? And you're going to find mistakes in those. It's the first iteration. And as engineering students, you should know the first iteration never works. So
it doesn't second or third.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get it better from there. We went through it a whole bunch of times this summer. If you find mistakes, just fire me an email. Let me know about it, because we're looking to improve it from there. Did you have any questions, or was that it?
Yeah, question for you. So then that survey is on initiated contacts, something that I personally initiated last week.
Yes.
So if I did not initiate any contact personally.
You just put zeros all the way through.
Got it.
Okay. And yeah,
Are we supposed to do that on a weekly basis? Or
No, just that 1 week. I just wanted that 1 week. It's just kind of a little picture, and I'm going to ask you to do that at the end to see how any patterns have changed from the beginning to the end. Okay, that's all that is. Any other questions? Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Holt. Okay, guys. If everyone could just pull up the lab sheet, because I'm going to go over right now what is the point of this lab and what you need to turn in. I'm going to try to make this as clear and simple as possible. So this you're really going to want to pay attention to because it's going to save you a lot of stress later. So if you look, the point of this lab, if you look at page 2, is basically we're going to re-import our optimized parts back into NX and then model those parts in NX to mimic that same geometry that the optimization gave us. So if you look at the in-class exercises, it explains what you're going to do from the first 2 paragraphs. So from hypermesh, open your carm.h file, etc. From your NX or CATIA CAD system, import it and all that stuff. And then it has a list of numbers, things to turn in, 1 through 6. So I'm going to go over those things and show you a picture of what I submitted last year. So you have an idea of what you need to turn in. So this should clarify any doubts, okay? So number 1 says, your optimized IGES control arm occupying the same space as your NX or CATIA part model. So here's mine that I did. There's the part model, it's the gray, and the blue is what I imported from hypermesh. So it's similar to that picture on page 2 of the lab. Number 2 is just an image of your part. The NX or CATIA part, right? That's pretty simple. We're going to go over that today. And then also 2 images of your design space control model. So this was my design space for our part, and you have to show that it's parametric. So that's A, and so this is B. So here's part A showing what it is, and here's B showing that it is parametric. Then you go, number 4 says, show an image of your OptiStruct results. So here was our results that we got in OptiStruct. And then number 5 is show an overlay of your OptiStruct results with your remodeled NX part and then the overlay from OptiStruct. And then number 6 has 2 images, one of your finished part that has been optimized in NX, and then also showing that is also parametric. Okay, so there are 8 things total, 8 pictures total to turn in, and they're listed pretty clearly: 1, 2, 3 with A and B, 4, 5, 6 A, B. And so these are some examples of those 6 pictures to turn in. All right. Are there any questions about that? Okay, if you have a question about what to turn in, just watch the video later, and that should help a lot as to what kind of thing to turn in.
Does each team member have to turn in 6 pictures?
Yes, that is an individual submission. So each team member turns in their own 6 pictures. Okay, so what we're going to do today for the lab, it's pretty